Now, the West African Examination Council says it was overwhelmed by the widespread examination irregularities it has recorded at the various examination centers in the ongoing West African Senior School Certificate examination. Now, the National Intelligence Bureau and the police have caught hundreds of students with foreign materials, impersonators and invigilators aiding an exam malpractice and cartel trading questions for various sums of money. Now, the council says the malpractices are so much it is currently tallying and categorizing them in order to come up with the number of students, teachers and supervisors involved. John Kapi is head of public affairs at WAEC.
Each day we have fresh reports coming in, and all these infractions that we've mentioned, virtually every day you find one or two. There's a team that is putting this together. And so if, for example, today we come and tell you we found, let's say, 500, and then somebody goes to write that for WASSCE 2023 we found 500 phones, they come back to us. We cannot justify that, all right? So as and when the reports come, we put them out there. But for now, we are compiling, and when we get the figure, but as I said earlier, we'll be able to give you something by close of this, probably next week, not today. But we would hand over these names and then particulars to the Ghana Education Service for the appropriate sanctions to be meted out. We also have the right to prosecute them. Those who were reported to the police are going to be prosecuted. Our rules, if we're able to, like I said earlier, when a candidate is found, infringing on any of our rules, what we do is take a statement. Now, per that statement, if we're able to confirm that indeed so and so brought a mobile phone to the examination hall, the entire results of that candidate are cancelled. Okay, so now we don't have any right to stop anybody from writing. Granted that the phone was just lying down, so when he picked it up and is able to prove that in court, then what happens? So I guess you heard what the legal officer said. We need to be able to prove all these cases before we take any disciplinary action against the people. Going to update you on the happenings on the ground. We are also there, as I said, our doors are wide open. We are willing to engage with individuals, groups who want to discuss any issue that have to do with the examinations. If you have any questions, we'll answer them anytime. And as and when the need arises, we shall invite you again and then brief you on what is happening with the examinations 2023.
My colleague Fred Kwatin joins me via Zoom with details of the irregularities recorded by WAEC. So, Fred, what else did John Kapi actually talk about?
Okay, Carlos, so there was the issue of leakage of examination papers. The council admitted that such reports have come to their attention. So they have activated their investigative machinery to probe those alleged leakages. So there's a collaboration between the WAEC, the Ghana Police Service, and the National Intelligence Bureau to investigate those issues. Now, the second aspect has to do with allegation that WAEC officials are deliberately intimidating the candidates at some centers. But the accusation was strongly debunked by WAEC. They are saying that they've strictly advised its officials on what to do in a case of suspected malpractice, and that does not include intimidation. He therefore questioned how a single person can intimidate over 100 students at an examination center. So these are some of the issues that were raised with respect to this 2023 WASSCE examination.
So has there been any arrests so far?
Okay, the council confirmed that they've been able to make some arrests. So the offenses include bribery. Some attempted to bribe officials of WAEC so that they can have their way. There was an issue of impersonation in a certain school where a national service personnel wanted to write a government paper for one of the candidates. Some also sent foreign materials into the examination hall. Such materials included mobile phones, textbooks, and notebooks. Some also, there were issues of syndicate cheating. They wanted to collude in the examination hall, but they couldn't do it because of the strict nature of the invigilation. So according to WAEC, the justification, they couldn't put a number to the number of people they've arrested so far because they said examination is still ongoing and they receive reports on daily basis, as you indicated. So there's a team tallying and categorizing those reports so that at the end of the day, they will come up with those numbers. So we will know the number of people, the number of teachers, the number of invigilators who were complicit in those examination malpractices. So basically, that's what they were able to put out with respect to the alleged arrest or the investigations currently ongoing with the malpractices.
All right. Thank you so much, Fred Kwatin is my colleague in the JoyNews room. Now, Divine Pear has also joined us via phone. He is the Senior Program Officer at the Africa Education Watch. You're welcome to JoyNews Prime here, Divine. So let's look at it from this angle. Looking at this issue over time, smuggling of electronic gadgets into examination halls, leakages of papers and impersonation of scripts, it remains a major challenge in this country. Why haven't we been able to tackle this particular problem effectively as a nation?
All right, Carlos, thanks for having me and good evening to your viewers. Yes, it has been an issue over the years, and I must first of all commend WAEC for some of the reforms that we are seeing that to some extent are addressing, especially when it comes to the point of leakages. When we are monitoring WASSCE or even BC, we look at the monitoring from two angles, issues of leakages and issues of malpractices that happen at the exam centers. And after our monitoring of last year, we've noticed that because the NIB stroke, the BNI, their presence in the security process of the examination, the entire examination value chain, has also helped address issues of leakages, and then also the introduction of, how do we call it, serialization of question papers has also helped to some extent address the point of leakages. Because when patients are serialized accordingly, people struggle to get more of the questions to sell. So the demand becomes so low. And because the demand for the papers becomes so low, we are now seeing a surge in the institutionalized or exam irregularities. And we pointed this out in our report last year that because the leakages are now low, we are now seeing collusion from school authorities, teachers to help candidates during the examination time. So what we now to do now is to shift also attention to what happens at the examination center. And it's very important for WAEC to get to the point of ensuring that the people that demand the process are 100% their staff, especially the external supervisors.
All right.
If you look at the number of supervisors, about 80% of them are GES staff. And if you are deploying GES staff to man the process to become external supervisors, they have interest in the entire process. If the students pass, it is to their advantage. And you've noticed that exam centers that WAEC's own appointed supervisors are, we see limited issues of examination irregularities in the centers. But areas that we see GES staff manning the process or being external supervisors, the irregularities are high. So while GES staff have interest in the process, you can't depend on them, because obviously this conflict of interest will be there.
Okay.
We need to get to that point of having WAEC appoint all the external supervisors, not using GES staff. I'm sure to some extent this will also address the exam center irregularities.
No, okay. So what impact is this examination irregularities actually having on the credibility of the result that come out from the schools?
You know, what as a high-stakes examination has several functions, like selection function, placement function, certification, and then also policy decisions are made based on the outcome. So whether students are learning or not, we can use the results to tell. So when the process is reading with high irregularities, then it tells that the decisions that will be made on the results will be faulty. For example, if we want to take a placement, or as an example, if we are placing a student that has fitted his way through the examination or they has several A's, and you have placed that child in a program, say, okay, that child has A's, so let the child go and do science, etc. You can just imagine the outcome.
Okay.
And then also, we are seeing the emergence of some of these tertiary institutions, the interest in having entrance examination for WASSCE graduates, because they are fit in the results actually at the beginning of. So they are also trying to introduce this sort of entrance examination. We don't need to get to that point, because at the end of the day, the decisions that we take on the WASSCE is so much important.
All right. Divine, thank you so much. Unfortunately, this all time will allow us. We are so grateful you could join us here with those great thoughts of yours. Now, moving on from that story, MPP MP for Doma East, Paul Chomberma, says the Electoral Commission, as an independent body, is constitutionally allowed to decide where to hold voter registration exercises. Now, the EC has come under fire from the NDC, who have sued the Electoral Commission body to decentralize the process to the electoral area. Now, speaking to journalists, the legislator, however, asked the EC to engage to reach a compromise.
The Constitution is clear that every person or every citizen who is 18 years and above must be given opportunity to vote. It is their civil right, and no one should take it away from them. So the EC has a duty to ensure that anybody who is 18 years and above casts his or her vote. However, the processes of doing that must always, or must also be good, must fully, must be, how do you call it? Must be exhausted. It's a limited registration in the first place. Obviously, yes, if you decentralize it to a certain point, some of us will all be saved. I mean, as we see it, we've been tasked to see how people will get votes, get registered and all that. But also, don't forget, as a citizen, you also have a duty to know, to make sure that you are registered. So even though, yes, we are calling on the EC to ensure that every effort that they can do or they can put in to ensure that these people are registered without any difficulties, we are also calling on the citizens to help the EC achieve that aim. It must be a win-win. I appreciate what my seniors or the other party people are doing. Yes, this is the right.
Now, Paul Chomberma, however, says matters of this nature should have been discussed at IPAC and lamented the continuous boycott of IPAC by the NDC.
We have IPAC. We must sit and be able to jaw. And it should always be difficult. Yes, one would say that maybe the decision came up at IPAC and the EC may have resisted what some of them said. Because the EC also probably will look at his financial strength, look at his staff strength and all that. But this is limited. Even though one would say that, oh, over 3 years now, they have not done any registration, so it cannot be limited. But yes, but you also know that they have to look at it well. So we will call on EC that if there is something that they can do to help us, please, they should do. However, if you're a citizen and you're 18 years and above, it is your duty, it is your civil right. You don't need somebody to come and tell you to do your civil right. It's about time that Ghana, we should also let we the citizens do what we are supposed to do. Even in the Bible, when Jesus Christ was performing miracles, there were some people that when he performed the miracle, he expected to do.
Now, the minority is urging Ghanaians to rise and fight against what it describes as recklessness in government. According to them, the ineptitude in governance is manifested in the losses posted by the central bank's governors in a 2022 audited report and must not be allowed to continue. It has therefore indicated that despite the attempt by the police to frustrate their demonstration, they remain resolute in their actions to get all 3 governors of the central bank resign. Communications Officer of the NDC, Sammy Jemfi, spoke on their behalf after an Accra High Court presided over by the Justice Edward Chum directed the police to correct the title of its injunction application against the protest.
Counsel for the respondent lawyer Judicial Temaplo argued, and today the court has agreed with him that unlike constitutional bodies like the Electoral Commission, Shraj and so on, the Ghana Police Service is a statutory body and not a constitutional body, and therefore cannot be bringing actions in courts in their own names and so on and so forth. So this is a very important contribution to the development of the law. It's a very landmark ruling that for us students of the law, we're very much interested in. And so commendation to our lawyers, commendation to the minority caucus, commendation to Arise Ghana and all the civil society organizations and progressive forces who are joining us in this struggle. This is not a fight for the NDC, this is not a fight for the minority caucus, it's a fight for the ordinary Ghanaian, because the recklessness of the governor, his deputies and the board of directors of the Bank of Ghana is what has plunged all of us into the excruciating hardships we currently find ourselves in. And that is why we must speak up, rise up on Tuesday, the 12th of September, to demand accountability from them. The claims about security concerns are totally far-fetched. These are members of parliament. It is not for nothing that we call them honorable.
And let's be clear, we've drawn the line in the sand when it comes to this protest. We will protest and nothing will stop it.
Well, you can even protest in front of White House today, and people do it on daily basis. Is the Bank of Ghana more secure? They require more security than the front of Flagstaff House, than the front of Parliament. I think this is just, as our colleagues have said, it's just an attempt to protect.
It's even instructive to note that Occupy Ghana had the benefits of massing up in front of Afrikiku, which is less than 50 meters from the seat of government.
Welcome back. Now, for 1 million Ghana cedis of the taxpayers' money, the Accra-Tema motorway will be made safer again in 2 weeks. You would recall JoyNews for some days now has been reporting on accidents and life loss at the Accra Toll Plaza as vehicles continue to crash into it. Director of Road Safety and Environment at the Ghana Highways Authority, Joseph Achu Amejaka, says the authority has handed over the site to contractors for demolition works to begin. There's more in the following report.
Today, principally, we are here to introduce the contractor to the site, give him possession of the site, and to show him what he needs to do. So tomorrow we will see the rail activity. We will start rail works tomorrow. But by this afternoon, we'll be mobilizing resources to the site for commencement of the works tomorrow.
This particular contractor you've brought to the site, what is it coming to do?
Yes, what we need most now is lightning, especially for the contractor who will be doing demolition works to work in the night. So principally, they are street light contractors. So they are here to install the street lighting facilities to enhance visibility at night and also to afford the contractor who will be doing the demolition works visibility in the night to undertake his work. So we anticipate that within 1 week, we should be able to fix the solar-powered street lights, both at the Accra end and then the Tema end. And then once they are finished, then the main contractor will be doing the demolition, will move in and then start his work. Within 1 week plus, at least we should get the work done for people to be able to use this facility in safety and efficiently.
So we are looking at maximum 2 weeks?
2 weeks. But it could be less. It could be less. If they are able to expedite the works, then the contractor is going to do the main works. I think within 2 or 3 days, it should be able to demolish the concrete facilities and slash some part of the canopy. And then,
so the understanding is that we have 2 contractors that are coming to work on this project. One is coming to fix the street light and the other is coming to do the actual demolition of the work. How much is it costing us to do all of this thing?
Just a little bit over 1 million Ghana cedis. And that takes care of the 1 million. It covers both the demolition works and the solar, the street lighting. So it's just a minor work. It's not major work that we are doing. It's just a minor work.
Okay, so beyond this work, after the 2 weeks, what is the next plan for the motorway?
The next plan is to also tackle the lightning along the rest of the motorway, and then also the design of the upgrading of the motorway from 2-lane drag carriageway to 3-lane drag carriageway with interchanges at various points to facilitate interconnectivity. So we think that before the year ends, we should be able to finish works on maybe the design, and then thereafter there will be procurement, and then once the contractor is procured, then we'll see major activities in the course of next year.
What is the immediate plan for the potholes?
The potholes, I think plans are far advanced. Procurement measures have been initiated for selection of a competent contractor to come and fix the potholes. So I think before this month ends, we will see some activity to address all the potholes and make sure that we provide the road users with a smooth and safe road facility.
All right, so that is the Director of Safety and Environment at the Ghana Highways Authority giving us those updates. We also have the contractor who is actually coming to commence the lighting work at this particular spot to share some details with us. So we understand you are the contractor coming to work. Give us your name.
I'm Engineer Clenham from Prefos.
All right, so what is the work? What are you actually coming to do here? Share with us.
Okay, so right now we want to understand part of the usage of where our scope of work will fall. So you can see us from the beginning, we took some measurement. That is the emergency shoulder of the road. And right after the shoulder, we understand there will not be any utility there, so we can actually install our street lights there. So realistically, if we will start work, we'll start work tomorrow, but the installation team will be on site to mark out the pole positions.
So we see you are here, but we don't see any vehicle or equipment that you are coming to work with. Why so?
Yes, like I was saying, we want to understand what the client wants, and we also advise in addition. So from the beginning we took the measurements, like I said, so we will then install our pole right after the shoulder, like I was saying. So that is why we are not here with any equipment now. Now we are now going to our drawing board. Our installation team will be on site to mark out again. Tomorrow they will be on site to start excavation.
Do we know how much the lighting aspect is going to cost the taxpayer?
Well, for now, the works department is the team working on the cost of that particular aspect. We, the engineers, just do the bill of quantities, and then we take it from the works department to start work.
So the understanding is that two contractors are actually going to be working on this project, and that of Terma. The first contractor is coming to install street lights here to ensure that there is higher visibility for the main contractor, who is actually coming to also work and cut off some of these things to be able to work in the night. So the first contractor will be working within some days, 4 days to 5 days. He will install a street light. Then the second contractor will come. He is actually going to ensure that this particular damaged booth is removed from the road. And this very one behind me here will also go. And the other one in my extreme left will also go, to ensure that where I'm standing becomes a free road for vehicles coming from Accra towards Tema without making a detour to the other side. Then they can go straight to Tema. Reporting from the Accra toll boat here, my name is Carlos Caloni for JoyNews.
Let's now take you to the Ashanti region, where the Asukwa Municipal Assembly is cash-strapped in executing a development project. By a resolution, the Assembly wants the government to restore the responsibility of collecting property rate back to the Metropolitan Municipal and District Assemblies. At an emergency meeting, the members observed the collection of property rate by the Ghana Revenue Authority will lead to the impoverishment of local assemblies. Nana Bwachi-Yadom has the rest of the story.
In 2022, the government, per the 2023 budget statement submitted to Parliament, sought approval for the Ghana Revenue Authority to collect property rates. Some MMDAs raised objections to this. Almost 8 months into implementation, some assemblies have called for the reversal of the revenue collection. Assembly members of the Asokwa municipality deemed the amount accumulated since January as woefully inadequate.
As a leader of an electoral area, these property rates and other rates that are within our electoral areas help us to also come to the assembly, force the assembly to also come and do something for us. Now, if you come here and there's no money, they will tell you there's no money. Meanwhile, our people that we live with knows that they always come round to come and get revenue from them. So if they are looking for projects and the projects are not coming, who do they blame? They think somebody is just sitting here, then the money that comes to them, they just use it for other things that they don't even care for, at those who are at the electoral area.
Based on the kind of records that we have with respect to the kind of discussion that was made by the finance people, we are made to believe that even from January to August, the amount they have realized is just 27,000. And I must be honest with you, when we used to pick this IGF ourselves, within this period, we could have, let's say, picked more than 200,000. So what is happening now?
The presiding member, Elliot Fusubona, says the various assemblies have been negatively affected by the collection of the property rates by the GRA.
Our revenue has been progressing. In fact, compared to some years, as far as having enough revenue, and we're using some of them for developmental activities. But unfortunately, recently, we are having challenges with our revenue. Reasons why our revenue was having problems as a result of the property rates not being collected recently or currently by the assembly. And they attributed it to internal revenue or Ghana Revenue Authority and their decoy, that is the digital city solution. And unfortunately, since digital city solution came into the system, they are not be able to collect the property. If you look at the figures we are having, January, February, March, they did not send anything to the assembly. They started giving the assembly something from June, that is 3 months, and we are almost into the third quarter. And these 3 months they have given us something. The total amount is just 27,000. It's not even amounting to 30,000. Which one even organization pays that property rate? So we have realized that the assembly resolved that if that's the case, they are not helping us.
The Asokwa Assembly, by resolution, says they will begin to collect their revenues by October to fund their activities should the government fail to heed their demands.
From October going, we are going to collect it ourselves because we have the capacity. And when we are collecting it, we are getting almost 3 million a year. If that year there was not even valuation. So when there was valuation, there's possibility that we are going to improve upon the revenue collection. But now, since these people came in, we are not able to collect it and get the amount of money that we want.
The Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly passed a similar resolution in July 2023. For Joy News, Nana Boachi Dankwayadom, Kumasi.
Now, British High Commissioner to Ghana, Her Excellency Harriet Thompson, has lauded Ghana's parliament for approving a bill that will stop elderly women from being accused of witchcraft. Now, the British High Commissioner said her outfit would continue to support initiatives that will stop the abuse of women and guarantee the rights of vulnerable groups in the Northeast region. She was addressing inmates of Gambaga witch camp at Gambaga as part of her official visit to the region. Eliasu Tanko reports.
The British High Commissioner arrived in the region in the company of high-value officers at the Commission. Madam Harriet's arrival in the region coincided with a flood disaster that killed 8 people and destroyed several properties. The High Commissioner was also in the region at a time of increasing concerns about the threat from violent extremists and other security concerns owing to the recent repatriation of some Burkinabe nationals in the region and the escalation of violence in Boko. Her first port of call was the office of the regional minister at the regional coordinating directorate in the capital, Nalergu. The regional minister and his senior staff at the RCC received the commissioner and her delegation.
It's an honor to have a person of your caliber taking time off your heavy schedules to call on the people of the Northeast region. But just to let you know that this is quite a very young region with a lot of challenges in our pursuit for development. It is because of those challenges that the people and the chiefs ask for the region, so that if we decentralize power closer to the people, we may be able to better prosecute our development agenda.
A PowerPoint address of the situational report of the region was then presented to the commissioner and her delegation. The commissioner, while explaining the reason for the visit, extended her condolences to the victims of the recent flood disaster.
I'm sorry to be coming at such a difficult time for this region. My heartfelt condolences, those of my staff, my team as well, on the loss that you have experienced as a result of the recent floods, the loss of life, but also the loss of livelihoods.
From the coordinating directorate, the regional minister led the High Commissioner to the Palace of the Traditional Authority in line with the established protocols. Her Excellency, after being welcomed by the Nairi and his elders, said her visit to the region was among others to ensure maximum impact of their work across human and economic development, peace, security and stability.
We recognize that the northern regions of Ghana experience more difficult, more challenging human development outcomes and less economic development than the rest of Ghana.
She added that her visit was in line with her responsibilities to strengthen and move forward the relationship between Ghana and Great Britain.
As the High Commissioner to Ghana from the UK, my responsibility is to strengthen that relationship still further and to to move it into the future. For me to be able to do that properly, I need to understand the whole of the country, not just sit in Accra and think that Accra is Ghana.
The overlord, Nabahaga Abdullahi Mohammed Shariga, expressed his gratitude for the visit, but also acknowledged and praised the warm relationship between the two nations. The Nairi, however, made several requests for assistance, including scholarship program for students in his jurisdiction and relief items for victims of the recent flooding in the region. The High Commissioner's visit to the region also came as police are investigating the killing of a 60-year-old woman in connection with witchcraft accusations in the Yunyu Naswani district. From the Nairi, the High Commissioner ended her visit at the Gambaga witches camp, where she interacted with and donated food items to the inmates.
We want to make it clear to Your Excellency.
But before her interaction with the inmates, the High Commissioner visited the caretaker of the camp, the chief of Gambaga, and his elders.
That the Gambarana does not go hunting for witches or dragging them to come here. The Gambarana rather serves as the director of a resettlement area. So this is a resettlement camp and not a witch camp.
The parties, however, called for adequate education and sensitization before the passage of the bill.
Nobody is against the law, but we know that there may be certain consequences behind it unless there is an in-depth education that will extend to the rural areas. Otherwise, in fear that when they declare anybody a witch, they will be arrested and maybe be sentenced. They may lynch them without the knowledge of anybody.
The High Commissioner, speaking to the inmates, said her office will continue to work with local partners to ensure their rights and dignity were respected.
We are happy that this law has been approved by Parliament that will stop people from being accused of witchcraft, because we don't want other people to be treated the way that some of you have been treated. Human rights are as important as anybody else's human rights. And so we will continue to work with Taba and with other people in Ghana who are supporting you to make sure that those human rights are respected and those of your children and your children's children.
Ilyas Sutanko from Nalirgo for Joy News.
Now, personnel at the Ghana Immigration Services Newves Sector Command in the Volta region have intercepted 80 slabs of substances suspected to be Indian hemp. Now, the alleged Indian hemp was intercepted at Atikwe, which borders Togo in the whole municipality, with suspected slabs concealed in sacks. IV Setoji has the rest of the story.
The Newves Sector Command of the Ghana Immigration Service has intercepted about 80 bags of suspected Indian hemp containing 80 parcels kept in Atikwe in the whole municipal of the Volta region after a tip-off. The Newves Sector Commander ACI Alhaji Abdullahi Zakaria, in an interview with Joy News, narrated where the parcels of India hemp were kept.
We acted based on intel. We had an intel that the goods suspected to be Indian hemp were lodged at a particular place at Atikwe near the clinic. So we quickly mobilized our men, did it with Ghana Revenue Authority, that is Customs Division, and deployed them to the area. We got there, secured the grounds, and went searching and actually got the goods that were kept in 2 separate rooms. So what we did was to immediately convey the goods to the border post for safekeeping, and that is what we have actually done.
ACI Alhaji Abdullahi Zakaria called for collaboration between the public and immigration in order to clamp down the menace.
Collaboration, we need their collaboration. This is a national security issue. Drug peddling is a serious crime, and we need collaboration of the citizenry so that we'll be able to arrest the perpetrators of this crime. And also we would like to plead with them, when they get the information, they should be ready to share it with us, and this could save our society, our children.
The acting Volta Regional Commander, Assistant Commissioner of Immigration, ACI Noah Ahomka, Yeboah, who also used the opportunity to tour other sectors of immigration in the region, commended the men at Nive for the good job done over the past years and urged them to do more.
What I would say is that the men have done a yeoman's job. And this area or this sector, the Nive sector, which goes through Shia, Tikpi, and Ojukope and others, right? They have consistently performed in terms of intersections. If you look at their records from 2021, there have been series of intersections involving narcotics, but this is the largest of it all, because we have had 2,000 plus slaps. This one, giving the estimates that in each slap we are going to have about 80 times 80, that's 64,000. We are looking at, give and take, 64,000. That's huge. And if this is what is happening in the community, we can only say we can only encourage our officers to do more. The communication from the CG is to tell them that he appreciates what they are doing and they should keep doing it, and that they will extend every support that there is for them to do the work that they are charged to do.
The suspects are on the run and the command is still investigating the issue to bring the suspects to book. Ivy Satoji, JoyNews, Nive.
Now, the absence of functional neonatal intensive care units in the OT region continues to put the lives of babies at risk. As of half-year 2023, neonatal mortality rate is 3.6 in every 1,000 live births. Peter Seno has been engaging OT Regional Director of Health, Dr. Osei Kufuor-Afrɛ, and the Director of Nursing and Midwifery about their concerns.
Neonatal mortality rates also increased from 1.2% in the half year of 2022 to 3.6% during the same period 2023. It means when our children are born, within the first 28 days, they die.
It used to be the fight against maternal mortality, but now it is neonatal mortality. The current neonatal mortality rate of 3.6% of every 1,000 live births is attributed to the non-availability of functional neonatal intensive care units at the various health facilities across the region. Currently, the supposed regional hospital, Rara Government Hospital, has only one functioning incubator and a baby warmer to take care of newly born babies with health complications. Dr. Osei Kufuor-Afrɛ is the OT Regional Director for Health. He has been speaking at the 2023 half-year performance review meeting.
One of our challenging areas, as you are mentioning, is high neonatal deaths that we have seen this year, which is very, very worrying, with many of the deaths occurring within the first 5 to 7 days after the babies have been born. And our analysis have shown that we don't have proper neonatal intensive care units, or which we call NICU. We don't even have incubators in the region to be able to incubate or help babies who are premature and they are born.
He's appealing for support to remedy the situation.
We return with Showbiz. Stay with us. Welcome back with Showbiz. We have Becky here to tell us all in Showbiz. What do we have?
We have Chief One because he is starting our new series of the show E-Vibes, and he's been, speaking to us about his musical journey and everything in between. He's been telling us about how music saved his life. He spoke on
Chief One.
Chief One.
Way back, my grandmom do call me Togbi.
Okay.
First, my name was Lil Verse.
Lil Verse.
Little Verse, you understand?
Right.
But I noticed the name was not selling like that. So I just decided to change it to Togbi. But to make it more catchy, Chief. And I added a one.
The only chief.
Yes,
so Chief
the only chief
One.
with the flares. That's all.
Wow, fantastic. Has it always been music for you?
Yes, from day one. Music itself, I think it's a gift or a passion. Because way back before Soga Kope Komboni, I do gather my friends and sing for them. And they feel happy. You understand? But later on, I developed it into a business. You understand? I think 4-5 years ago, I recorded my first masters, and that's where everything started professionally.
Let's move away from Chief One and talk about the world best album by Patoranking. You know that Jackie was featured on that particular album, and Patoranking says that Jackie added some spice to the album.
Come on, Jackie. That's Jackie Chan for you. You know we are Jackie Chan. Is it Jackie Chan or Jackie Chan? So, you know, there's something special about Jackie, and we needed that spice, and trust me, it wasn't a difficult situation or decision when we said Jackie. You know, she just went in on the song and boom, done.
We can't help but notice the high life genre that you just, you know, embedded in all the songs that you have. I mean, what is the inspiration?
I'm a traditional man, right, and I keep to traditions. You know, meaning, growing up, I grew up in the ghetto. Our genre is called Galala music. So we make Galala sound. And for every Galala album, there's a touch of everything. From love to life to situation to problems to enjoyment to girls. So if you listen to the album, it has a touch of everything I just mentioned.